Hey, good people, this is Deborah. I hope you're having a lovely day today. Let me read the disclaimer. All information provided on this channel is for educational purposes only, and this channel strives to enlighten and inform, not promote or encourage misuse of the information. I encourage you to always consider your intuition and discernment. Some knowledge is given to me through intuition in pieces. Some is given to me complete, while others come from videos and articles. I will post for you what you prefer, which you consider a credible source. I will post it under the video. If you don't see one posted under the video, that means I did not get it from articles or other videos, okay? Anything that I get from outside of myself, I will always post it underneath the videos. Now, I will use words that are not intended to offer to offend people, but to describe my point of view and how I see things. Respect that we all have different paths. So take what resonates with you, and what does not resonate with you, put it on the shelf or throw it away. Now, this is going to be part 2 of human trafficking. I did part 1 some time ago, and I will list part 1 underneath this video right along with some references. Now, the question I want to ask you, are you a guardian of your sister and brother? And my answer is yes. I feel that way. We all are. Why is child trafficking often quiet in American cities? Why? Child trafficking, including commercial sexual exploitation, frequently remains hidden due to several complex and systematic reasons. Invisible victims and misconceptions. Victims are rarely stereotypical kidnapped strangers. People exploit most they know. Family members, peers, or someone they've been befriended or trusted. American Bar Association, Team Vogue. Trafficking often grooms children emotionally, using manipulation, gifts, and psychological control to create trauma bond that prevent escape or reporting, as they describe in Vogue, American Bar Association. Now, stigma and systematic misclassification. Legally, children involved in prostitution are still treated as offenders in many places rather than recognized as victims, entitled to help according to the American Bar Association. Only a few states, New York, Illinois, Washington, Connecticut, have what they call safe harbor laws to discriminalize these children and ensure they receive care instead of prosecution, according to the American Bar Association. Vulnerability through system involvement. Children from foster care, homeless youth, and those who unstable home environment are disproportionately at risk. Over 50 to 85% of trafficked minors have had involvement with child welfare system. Do you hear that? Child welfare system. So this is for you all that get pissed off with your neighbors and don't like what your neighbors doing with their children. You pick up the phone and you call child welfare. They said it. I didn't say it. And I'm going to read it again. Children from foster care, homeless youth, or those with unstable home environment or disappropriated at risk. Over 50 to 85% of traffic minors have had involvement with child welfare system. Who's we American Bar Association, uh, which is in Wikipedia. As I said, I'm gonna list all this. The best thing that you could do is try to help some other kind of way. Involving recruitment methods. Social media platforms like Instagram and TikTok are widely used for grooming recruitment. Please get that. Following the pandemic, these channels have become even more dominant tools for traffickers. According to the Heritage Foundation, the online space is increasingly includes AI generated content and sex extortion risk, adding new hidden dimensions of exploitation. NCMEC. Law enforcement and legal gaps. Lack of training across law enforcement and child services impedes proper identification and response to trafficking cases. According to the American Bar Association, there are discrepancies between federal definition and state local enforcement, making consistent protective action difficult. According to the American Bar Association, low visibility despite high impact. In LA, for instance, an increase in youth prostitution along Figueroa Street became alarming, yet many cases remain unseen. In 2024, 123 children were rescued, but officers estimate that for each one saved, at least two more remain on the street, unaccounted for the times. Federal operations like Operation Soteria Shield, April 2025, successfully rescued 109 children from online exploitation. But this reflects just a portion of the issue, according to Wikipedia. How many children are missing in the what they call the United States? The United States is no such thing as a corporation, so a landmass is not United States. This is America. But I'm going to read it as they listed. How many children are missing in the United States in 2025? Reported missing children. 2024 data from the National Center of Missing and Exploited Children. It's in the acronym NCMEC. Shows 29,568 cases supported by law enforcement, with about 91% of those children brought home by NCMEC. On average, that daily reports of children going missing nationally. Older estimated suggest up to 800,000 missing child report annually, and around 460,000 active missing cases at any moment. According to World Matrix, these numbers encompass a wide range of situations: runaways, family disputes, misunderstanding, not solely trafficking. Missing migrant children and systematic failures. From 2019 to 2023, approximately 448,000 unaccompanied minors entered the U.S. Many slipped through gaps in oversight. By early 2025, 233,000 lacked proper ICE paperwork, which with 10,000 unaccounted for or missing count data. The Department of Health and Human Services, which is acronym HHS, reported 85,000 migrant children were unable to be located. Whatever. According to the New York Post. Separately, HHS failed to investigate over 7,300 reports of migrant children trafficking. Only 28% of the backlog has been addressed. This has led to 528 investigative leads and 36 prosecution highlighted ongoing systematic struggles, according to the New York Post. Here's the summary overview without the chart listed plainly. Missing children in 2024. The NCMEC supported cases 29,568 with 91% resolved. Whatever. Annual missing children reports up to 800,000. Active missing at a given time 460,000. Unaccounted migrant children up to 85,000. Child rescue from online trafficking in 2025, 109. Operation Sotira Shield. Children rescued in LA in 2024, 123 in the Figueroa Street operation. Overview. Child trafficking often hides in plain sight. Victims may be still attend school, appear in public, or even live with family members, making their exploitation harder to detect. Traffickers frequently rely on public inattention, community silence, and bystanders' hesitation to operate without interference. As individuals, being attentive, trusting your instinct, reporting suspicious behavior can be critical to saving lives. Let me reread this. As individuals, being attentive, trusting your instinct, and reporting suspicious behavior can be critical to saving lives. Even if you're unsure, it's far better to report than to assume someone else will handle it. I'm gonna be honest with you. If I see anything like that, I'm gonna ask that child, do they know their next relative? I'm gonna try to take that child to the relative. That's just how I see it. I have talked to so many adult children that have been in the system, and they have gotten raped, molested, and abused. And then you ask yourself, should they have stayed at home? They took them out of their homes because they were being abused or neglected. But you take them out of that situation and put them in a worse situation. That needs to change. That needs to change. And then I'm looking at these people go from America, go over to Africa, and they bring these little African kids here. That's crazy to me. And I remember one year they were going to Africa, bringing kids back here from Africa. I'm talking about the Albions. They were bringing African kids, adopting them, they say, and bringing them like they were going shopping. I'm talking about I watched this and observed this for some time. And then all of a sudden, after maybe a year, it stopped. No. What people should do, be alert to warning signs A child who suddenly has unexplained money, expensive items, or clothing. A young person accompanied by someone who controls their ID, their money, and their phone. This is, I'm saying this if you one of those people out there that care. Some people just attitude is it ain't my problem, it ain't my situation, because it ain't my children. You need to rethink that attitude that you have. Because you say you believe in whatever deity you say you believe in, that deity, you should learn love is a part of that deity. If in fact it's in the behavior, it's in the heart. I know, and they tell you there's no deity outside of yourself but you. You're the God. Of course you the God. You're the God because the God substance is inside of you. So of course you're gonna worship the God substance inside of you. So if you call yourself a God, that's okay because the substance is inside of you. But do understand that God substance that you have in you is past these dimensions here. Okay? That's why the substance is in you. So if you choose to worship that God that's past these dimensions, it's okay because you have the substance inside you. Don't let people tell you different. Now, the one that you've been told to worship today, and the majority of people worship something that don't even exist. But that's on you. So let me stay to the subject at hand. Now, a child who avoids the eye contact appears to be fearful and is coached to stay silent. The signs of neglect, malnourishment, physical injury, or exhaustion. Someone is always speaking for the child or refusing to let them be alone. And that also applies to teenagers and young adults. When these kidnappers have these young adults, they coach them. And just look at their face. You can tell if they have fear in their face. They show it to you on their face. One thing I've learned about the young children, the young babies, the teenagers, and the young adults, they don't hide their fear. They can't hide their fear. I have been dumb enough to stop fights myself. I'm talking about. I remember this one fight. It was 6 boys was fighting this one guy, and I was downtown Atlanta, and I parked the car right in the doggone middle of the street, jumped out of there, and went and stopped them. Now ask me how I was able to stop them. I don't know. I did, and the young man was able to get gone. This guy was beating up his I guess she was a girlfriend or something, and I jumped out the car, parked the car right in the middle of the street, jumped out because they was at a bus stop, and I told him, I said, you throw her on the ground one more time, and he didn't do it. But I've been in several kind of, and I tell you, the universe has been with me because I just don't like violence. I will defend me. Don't get it twisted. I'd rather be kind, but I'm not a punk, okay? But I'd rather be kind. Even at my old age, I'd rather be kind. But I just don't like trafficking because I want you to go back and do some research on the Atlanta child murderers. They weren't children. I met somebody that survived that, but later on that person passed. They weren't children. Those young teenagers, young adults, were child prostitutes right here in Atlanta. And they did not want that to come out because Atlanta at that time was a religious state. They didn't want people to know that those child murders were, and they weren't children, they were homosexuals. Right downtown. Right downtown. And I was going to do a video on that, but you know what? I'm going to let it go. Because I'm just talking about it right now in this video. It would have took a lot of... Because see, I'm from Atlanta. And I know the areas that those kids... When the young man was telling me the story, I knew the areas. And I remember them hanging out in that area. But like I said, they kept it hush hush. And they started showing you their children pictures. But they were almost adults. And some of them were adults. And then they got cute. I don't know whether there was a couple of girls thrown in there. That was a different killing. And then there was I just remember in that case, I was in Charlotte, North Carolina, when the killings was taking place. And I specifically remember that they reported, they said white man and a black man. But only Wayne Williams went to jail for that. Let me just tell you this, and I want you to use your brain to think about it. I fainted one time, and my son and my ex-husband went to pick me up. When somebody faint, it's like their body is dead, okay? That's heavy weight. It's going to take more than one person. So I do not, because of what they said, that and they said that person was not really, they didn't pay attention to that person that reported that. I wasn't here in Atlanta, but I was in Charlotte, North Carolina at the time, watching the TV constantly, every day. And the thing of it is, I do not feel Wayne Williams, if in fact he had something to do with the killing, there was someone helping him. And if in fact someone was helping him, I know someone was helping him if he had something to do with the killing. Because you one person can't pick up dead weight. It's just too heavy. They make it look like that on TV, but you can't pick up you gotta have two people. Two. And like I said, I was going to do a video on it, but I'm not going to do it. I'm going to let it be, because it is what it is. Those that are in positions here in Atlanta that know that went on, your day is coming. And your day is coming real soon. All those lies. This need to stop. I know for a fact. Well, I can't say for a fact, but my son has a friend, and they have trafficking right here in Atlanta. And I'm not sure why they ain't talking about it. A certain person that did do movies kind of hinted at it, but he didn't really put it in there. So those preachers and those that they're nothing but cults. Nothing but cults. And they plenty of them all over the place. They had a preacher that was here. He died in a bad fire here in Atlanta. You can look it up. Did I do? Yeah, I had did a video on him. Sometime I took it down, but you, you got to pay attention to what's going on, people. Got to pay attention. I love children. Children are my heart. You know why? Because I was a child, and I was one of those children that was protected by the universe. I'm not going to say people, but I was protected and guarded by the universe. And I could tell you, children are the most vulnerable beings, and they rely on adults to help them. And adults are the ones causing them harm. And that's so cruel. So, observe situations that don't add up. Adults are bringing different children to exact locations over time. Frequent hotel visits with minors. Children are out late at night without explanation. Social media profiles where minors are being approached, recruited, and sexualized. Trust in your instinct, people, if you care. If a situation makes you feel something is wrong, pay attention. Don't dismiss your concern because the people involved look normal or don't fit the stereotype. Take action safely. Do not confront. I have and I will. But this is something that they're saying not to do. Do not confront suspected traffickers yourself. It could endanger you and the child. Record descriptions of the people, vehicle, locations, time, and behavior you observe. If safe, discreetly take note of license plates and location detail. Call the police. I'm going to tell you, call them because you're going to need them. The only thing I don't like is those kids go into the system and they get mistreated too. That's the only thing I don't like. Report immediately. Call 911 if a child appears to be in immediate danger. National Human Trafficking Hotline. And call them. You can do text help. You can type in help in a text and you get a response. National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Report online the exploitation via cyber tip line org. Follow up if needed. If the situation persists after reporting, making a second report with an updated detail. Encourage others in your community to stay vigilant and report any suspicious activity as well. This ends this video. I will post references underneath this video. This video is near and dear to my heart because it's so much wickedness is going on. The child depends on you as an adult to protect them. But as an adult, you're the one doing the harm to them. Abusing them in all kinds of ways there is. Stop. And for those of you that do not do that, protect the children. Help the children. You know, I was talking to this man the other day, and when my grandkids came in the world, they are everything to me. And I spent time with them. And I think the reason why is because when I had my own children, I was always working. And then when my grandchildren came in, I was not working. And so I spent time doing things with them that I wasn't able to do with my own children. And children are very near and dear to me. They're precious. And they're busy little ones. So the man said to me, I said, I spent time with my grandkids. Do you spend time with your grandkids? He actually said to me, no. He said, you know what, that little, and he seemed like he was about to say something really ugly about the little grandson. He said, everything he picks up, he throws. And so I said to him, I said, why don't you tell your child to take the baby to see what could possibly, it sounds like he has an imbalance going on. If everything he picks up, he throws. And when he said that to me, he was angry saying that to me, you know. And you gotta do something. If you have children and they seem different, you got to get some help. If you don't know what to do to help them, you got to get them help, because it may be something going on that you cannot help them with. But instead of just not doing anything, get them some help. Talk. You are your sister and brother's keeper. Until the next time, take care, good people.